Watching the Urban Debate in Mirror now, Free D'Souza, thank you for joining us. We've kept our attention on Kerala for nearly a week, but there's a very important story for us to focus on. We all remember when the UAE, Sheikh Maktoum, the Prime Minister of the UAE, offered 700 crore rupees to the state of Kerala because he believed that the people of Kerala were part and parcel of UAE's success. That was his tweet. After he put out that tweet, there was a response from the Prime Minister who acknowledged the help and appreciated it. Post that, Qatar and Maldives have also, and Sharjah have offered help, taking that total aid up to 770 crore rupees as an offer. We understand that India is not going to use that help, and there has been a lot of concern on social media about the Indian government turning down help from foreign countries. The question is why? Joining me on the show this evening, Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Kohli, thank you for joining us. My first question to you is: we understand that the Indian government is not going to accept foreign aid. Is that true, and why is that?
Well, I have not seen any statement from the government as such, but I think we need to bear in mind that this is not a new stand. In fact, this is at least a decade-old policy. If you would recall that such an offer of aid had even come during the Uttarakhand, flood situation. And then also at that time, if I recall correctly, Dr. Manmohan Singh had said that we feel we can cope with it ourselves. So therefore, this is just part of a policy. I think India can do its own bit. We have to understand when there are funds coming from a sovereign nation to sovereign, obviously, let's also look at it a little bit legally, if you will permit me, Faye, if I can wear my legal hat. You can't have fund routed to the state government directly because these are all to be done in a mechanism because we are, after all, it involves a foreign country, it involves the External Affairs Ministry, so on and so forth. Funds can come directly also in the country as they do, as foreign contributions do, but they have to be regulated by the FCRA or the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. In that, those who are registered and those who follow that thing, they do receive it. They can also receive it for, say, reconstruction or other activities as far as it is on their stated objectives. Those NGOs or non-governmental organizations who are not registered, then such money, when it comes into their books or into their bank accounts, is logically treated as an income. Now, with regard to a country-to-country help, this is not about denying the people of Kerala or anything. If a policy or a general decision is not to take funds for aid per se, because when there are disasters, people do send help, as India has helped Nepal in terms of sending helicopters, in terms of doctors, engineers, etc. That's a different thing. But in terms of pure money and money contribution, perhaps, I don't know what the reason is, but this policy may have also kept in mind the fact that India is a country that also on its own does offer help globally a lot. So one wonders whether we should be classified also. That may be one of the reasons, but I can't speak on it authoritatively without checking on the exact facts.
But the next question that ought to be asked at this point, Mr. Kohli, is that the government of Kerala put out a request for 2,600 crore rupees and has received 600 crore rupees from the central government. It has a tremendous shortfall at this point, and would you say the central government in this case, if we believe that we can handle it on our own and we don't need help, and I understand that this is a long-term policy, but should we then be releasing more money to Kerala if there is a shortfall?
Faye, I've also worked in the government and at one point of time, and I can tell you that these are all guesswork figures that come out in the first phase. We are going through a situation which is obviously a situation of a natural disaster in that sense, or a natural challenge. And in that, there is no mechanism for you to come to an exact figure. Before the waters recede, you don't even know what is the extent of the damage. You can only estimate. It's like saying that, let's build a house and you just have a plan that this is what it may cost. But you have to get down to actually breaking it down. Now, when money is involved, which is money of the public money, it all has to be based on estimates, etc., etc. It's not about any, printing factory that the center just sends it. What is legitimate is given to the states, whether it is drought, whether it is floods, whether it is earthquake, whether it is any other kind of calamity. And I don't think any government has ever denied the due when there was a super cyclone in Odisha, and that was devastating. I think if you'd recall, a lot of work did happen. The second part is sometimes we miss out what are the funds that have been collected or the relief work that's been done additionally. For example, National Highway Authority has said no tolls to be collected over 3 roads. Now that may not be coming into the bank account, but that is a relief also. So things do get estimated, and I don't think I would say it's very premature if the Kerala government at this point is talking only in terms of money, whereas I think the entire focus should be relief and rescue at the moment, and that's where whether it's the army, individuals, old people, young people from across the country, everyone's concern is only that. It's not about let's calculate how much we are going to get, because how do you disperse it also, because this money is for reconstruction. Reconstruction can only happen when the situation comes back to normalcy and thereafter.
Well, Mr. Kohli, I'm holding in my hand a letter from Oman Chandy of the Kerala. He's a Kerala MLA, and he's written a letter to the Prime Minister dated today. And while he expresses his gratitude and goes on to say that, we are expecting reasonable monetary help to wipe the tears of our poor people and bring them back to normal life. With great relief, the people of Kerala have so many kind-hearted people. He said His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Saeed Maktoum expressed his philanthropic attitude by offering 700 crore rupees to Kerala. Now reports are being spread that the government of India has denied permission to accept this monetary help. I hope the government of India, he goes on to say, if there are any obstacles against the acceptance of foreign aid, kindly look into the matter seriously and bring suitable modifications. What is your response to this letter?
So we should wait. No, we should wait. It's written from someone responsible in Kerala to no less than the Prime Minister. And I don't think this is going to work like an instant 30-second bite or an instant tweet. If it is there, if there is a policy, it will obviously be looked at. So I think we should wait. We shouldn't comment on it, and we shouldn't certainly not arrive at any conclusion, and certainly not politicize it, as some people are trying to do it.
Right. The other part of this letter goes on to say, I hope the government of India will take further initiative, steps to possible assistance for Kerala and treat this as a calamity of severe nature. Also hope that you will take a lenient attitude as to declare this mishap a national calamity, which will ensure better reconstruction and rehabilitation process to the drowning people of Kerala. Again, do you want to react to that statement?
Well, it's not difficult to react because there is no fixed definition. Like in an act, if you have a definition of a certain word, with regard to calamity and national calamity, to the best of my knowledge, there is no fixed definition. And there have been instances that there have been naturally demands, states do demand of it, and states are entitled to demand that they declare any kind of a situation as a national calamity. But I think in terms of it, it has to be seen in the larger context that not every not every challenge caused out of any kind of problem related to nature, like rainfall, drought, may be classified as a natural calamity looking at precedent. So those who deal with these subjects, and there are obviously whole mechanisms to do so, we'll have to wait to see whether it really qualifies in that zone. But irrespective whether it is a national calamity or it's not, does it change the suffering of the people who are suffering? It doesn't. Does it not mean that people have to be helped? Of course they have to be helped. They are citizens of their country. They are entitled to be helped. And I think everyone as fellow citizens, and the government of the India day, that is Narendra Modi ji's government, is doing it. The Prime Minister was there. The Home Minister has been there. Others are at it. So it's not as if anyone is having a stepmotherly treatment towards Kerala or the citizens of India there.
Mr. Kohli, do you believe then in that case that the disappointment being expressed by the Kerala government, and I use the word disappointment because we had the Chief Minister, the Finance Minister of Kerala on this show just last night, and he talked about how the state was deeply disappointed in the release of only 600 crore rupees. Do you believe that this disappointment is politicizing the issue? Do you believe that there is any room at all for this sort of statement?
I would hope not. I would hope not, because it would be very unfortunate. At least I can see personally that in Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we have a person who's very clear and says, I'm the Prime Minister of 125 crore people. And the people of Kerala are as dear to him as anywhere else in the country. So I don't think the government of India would ever show any kind of attitude or action that would be unfair to the people of Kerala in this hour of need. And they are doing it as other Indian citizens outside the government are doing it. So I would hope that it's not a political statement. It is possible that the Honorable Finance Minister of Kerala is, as the rest of the cabinet, at this point going through a very stressful period, because obviously they have to deal with this entire situation. They are elected, they are in position there. So perhaps it's out of that in that pressure, there could be a choice of words, but I don't think that there would be an instance of any stepmotherly treatment ever.
In fact, Mr. Kohli, Mr. Vijayan,
irrespective who the state government is.
The Chief Minister of Kerala spoke about an hour ago in Malayalam, and this is the translation. He said the National Disaster Management Policy released by the centre on May 2016 clearly lays down that aid given by other countries in their own goodwill gesture can be accepted. There are reports and some hurdles of receiving aid from the UAE. Any issues should be sorted out with the state government by discussion. If there is any problem, Kerala is ready to meet with the Prime Minister to solve and receive the funds from the UAE. Your response, Mr. Kohli?
These are all, as I said, these are all in the air. Because we'll have to wait to see, and it's not going to happen in terms of this kind of thing. If there is a policy, if there has been a precedent of not going down that route, then it's also about establishing a precedent about the future. So where does that stop? So it's a larger question, and we do need to bear in mind when it comes to foreign relations, at that point the union's word is final, and the union is as in the central government, is a government in continuum. Political parties may come and occupy those positions, but the policy of the country in terms of foreign relations and with other countries is something that would extend beyond just what a state government thinks or multiple state governments think.
All right, Nalin Kohli of the BJP joining us here on Mirror Now. Many thanks for joining us on the show. Nalin Kohli basically responding to the story about India not accepting foreign donations on the Kerala floods. He said fundamentally that this is a policy that India has had for many, many years now, that we can domestically handle our own calamities. We don't need money from elsewhere. We have enough money. And any sort of disappointment that has been expressed by the state government at this point is perhaps a result, he said, of the stressful period they're undergoing and the pressure they're feeling, and initial figures of 2,600 crore rupees placed before the government by the Kerala government is guesswork, or some of the things that he pointed out. But he did say that there is no step-monthly treatment at all from the central government towards Kerala. The Prime Minister has visited, the Home Minister has visited, and they're keeping a close track on what's happening in Kerala. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll come back with a closer look at how Kerala needs the 2,600 crore rupees, if at all, and what do they need the money for? That's on the other side. Don't go anywhere.